Class with Miss Kris. Today we're going to be looking at an artist named Margaret Keane. Margaret Keane, she is an artist based out of San Francisco area. She actually started her career there in the 1950s, and she is known for her big eyes. She makes children with huge eyes, she makes adults with huge eyes, and she makes animals with huge eyes. So we're actually going to do a piece today, and we're gonna call our piece Alley Cat. We're gonna make a alley cat, kind of a scruffy cat, and we're going to make that cat with huge eyes. And I'm gonna show you how to do this today. So a lot of you like to make big eyes already. I've seen it already in Schoology. Anime, right? Anime is all about big eyes and smaller features and lots of spiky hair. It's really fun to draw too. But we're gonna do something a little different today because we're gonna do an animal. Margaret Keane is really interesting because she's been making art for 60 years. She's in her 90s and she's still making art and selling art. She has a gallery right there in Ghirardelli Square in San Francisco. I used to walk by it all the time and look in the windows and look at all of the art. With a lot of it was people and animals with these huge eyes. You can't help but to look at them. They just bring you in. Her art is just so amazing. She has quite a story about her life, and if you want to check out a movie, Tim Burton, the director, he made a movie about her life story, and it's called Big Eyes. It's PG-13, so of course you need your parents to give you permission to watch that movie, but it's a Hollywood movie that you can probably find maybe on Hulu. But anyways, it's a really good movie about her life and her struggles and overcoming her struggles, and she's a really happy person today. So here we go. We're gonna make our alley cat. So let's get started because this is gonna take a little while today. So the first thing that we're gonna do for our alley cat, we're gonna have a long body down here and a head that's gonna be towards the upper part of our art. I'm also gonna show you how to make brick in the background, like a brick wall. Like this cat is like literally in an alley in downtown. And so here we go. Let's start with the shape of the face. So I'm gonna come here. Today I'm gonna use, I need to tell you what to use, huh? A regular pencil 2B with an eraser. I have a pencil sharpener handy if I need it. I have a set of colored pencils. You are gonna need, my alley cat is gonna be orange, like an orange tabby. But you can make your cat black or any color that you really want, a gray tabby, your choice. But I'm gonna use the orange colors for my tabby. And I'll show you those colors that I've chosen later. So here we go, let's get started with the face. So right here, I'm gonna come around and I'm gonna start at the top of the face, top of the head. And I'm gonna just make some scruffy, remember this is gonna be a scruffy cat. Little rough alley, maybe a little stray. So I'm gonna make just some scruffy fur right here. That's gonna be the top of this cat's head, okay? Then I'm gonna make an ear. So I'm gonna make my ears going in two different directions. So this first ear is gonna come up right here. And it's gonna come down. If you ever saw an alley cat or stray cat, sometimes they have there's a little, like a bite, like it's been living on the alley, so it's got a little bite out of it. Okay, so like so. I'm gonna come right here. I'm gonna bring this line up. So that's the outside of the ear. So that's the inside of the ear, where we're gonna add some like pink and some shading later. All right, so I'm gonna go on the other side now, and I'm gonna make this ear, it's gonna be kind of tilted. This little alley cat's feeling a little bit annoyed right now. I don't know if you guys have cats, but when the cats are frustrated or a little annoyed, they tilt their ears. So this one's gonna be like this. See how it, like that, tilted? And then I'm gonna come down like that. All right, so now I'm gonna go into the shape of the outside of the face. I'm gonna come out, scruffy, out, scruffy. And I'm gonna come down. Oops, I messed up on that, sorry. I'm gonna come down, get to kind of like a point down here. All right, so now I'm going to start with the face. So in this section down here, you could actually even make a small circle, like really lightly, that you're totally gonna erase. We're gonna develop the nose and the mouth, and then the eyes are gonna be huge, and they're gonna be in this section, okay? So let's start with the nose. We're gonna make a little teeny nose. So I'm gonna make a line right here. And if you want, if this helps, you can draw some guidelines at this point. Why don't you do that? Divide it in half and divide it in half. It's gonna help us keep symmetry. It's also gonna help you make your nose so it's not two on the right or two on the left. Okay, so I have a little line like that. I'm gonna come down, come out, come down. I'm gonna make a little teeny cat nose like that. Then I'm gonna make a line down. I'm gonna go straight out. Straight out. You can start seeing how that comes together. And side and side. There. I'm gonna make a few little dots. That's where I'm gonna put whiskers. Okay. Now, just like Margaret Keane, she makes huge eyes, big eyes. We're going to follow her, and we're gonna make this cat with very big eyes. So these lines right now are gonna help me. So I'm gonna come about right here. And I'm gonna make a line straight down. And then I'm gonna do that on the same right here, okay? Straight down. And you want this line and this line to be even, and you want this space and this space to look pretty even. Then I'm gonna come across. These are kind of like anime eyes, what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna come across like so, and I'm gonna come across like so. Margaret Keane said that even when she was a child and she would draw in her sketchbooks, she always drew big eyes on everything she drew. And then as she got older, her eyes just became bigger and bigger. And then she became known for it, the artist that made the big eyes. So I'm gonna come down like so. I actually like making big eyes. And if you guys like making big eyes and you wanna do a person, I almost did a person today, but I felt like doing a cat. You can also do a person with big eyes. All right, so I have those huge eyes, and inside the eyes, I'm gonna create the eyeball. Okay, I'm gonna come over here and do the same thing. Now inside that eyeball, I'm gonna put a circle and a circle. We're gonna keep that white, and we're gonna end up coloring in this eyeball black. All right, so let's go down and we're gonna start the body of our cat. So I'm gonna come down here And he's gonna have, this cat, this alley cat, is gonna have kind of a skinny little neck that's gonna start coming down, like so. Okay, see how I did that? All right, so I'm gonna come down about right here, and I'm gonna make 2 of his arms. Right here, right here. There's 1. I'm gonna come over a little bit. I'm gonna take this outside, see how I'm doing that? And I'm gonna just take this straight down like that. Okay, now let's, at the bottom of these 2 arms, I want them to end about the same direction. I'm gonna make his paws. So I'm going to do little areas that kind of look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm gonna make the bottom of his paw like this. I'm gonna make claws coming off. 2, 3, 4. And do the same over on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bottom of the paw, claws. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now I'm gonna finish his body. Okay, so we're gonna come down his back. Come around. We're gonna make a curve like that. And we're gonna make a back paw. This is his back paw, like his back hind leg. It's kind of, he's sitting actually, he's sitting in this alley. Sitting and waiting for a friend to come and give him some food, a treat. Claws. This is a true story, but when I was a kid, we had a cat, and I grew up in the Los Angeles area, and he went missing. And he went missing for months, and my parents couldn't figure out where he was. And they got a call that he was downtown LA in a dumpster getting food. This had been like 6 months later, and my parents drove downtown LA and found that cat and getting food out of a dumpster and brought him home. And we just couldn't believe that we found that cat. So he became an alley cat. Alrighty, so now I have that back foot tilted in, okay? I'm gonna come back here on this side, and I'm gonna come down like this. You're not gonna really see the other part of him, but you are gonna see his little tail, okay? And we're gonna have to erase a little bit. His tail, you're gonna see just the tip of it. It's gonna come down, see right here? Curve around and up. So how I did that, it went through all this stuff, and then I just erase it out. So I want that tail to be kind of coming around his body. You can see that. All right, so before we start coloring in this alley cat, I am gonna give him some markings because he is gonna be kind of like a tabby. So I'm gonna come through his body and give him some tabby type markings. I don't know if you guys have cats, but I do. We have 4 cats in my house. So we really, really like cats over here. They're lots of fun to have. Come down here. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I feel like this area is a little too wide. That happens when you're drawing. Like if something doesn't look right, don't worry about it. Just on mine, I'm gonna thin it. See how I thinned it a little bit? I felt like that was a little too wide for an alley cat. Alrighty, I'm gonna add a few markings to his head, and then I'm gonna erase these guidelines, right? I don't need those. I'm gonna go in with my colored pencils and start bringing this to life. So this takes a while to color this in. Like it takes a long time. It took me like, I don't know, I probably worked on this for a good hour and a half yesterday. So I'm not gonna take an hour and a half today, but I'm gonna get you started and then I'm gonna show you one that I completed. And then I'm gonna have you guys just go to town, okay? I'm gonna show you a background. If you're having a really busy week, you don't have time to do the whole background, then don't do it. But if you do, go for it. So I have a black colored pencil. I have a gray colored pencil. I'm doing like a green turquoise kind of eye. So a green turquoise and a little yellow that I'm gonna put in the eye. I have some pink for the nose, and some in the ear. And then mine's an orange tabby. So I pulled out some orange and even a little bit of this red-orange color. So I got all these out, I sharpened them up, so I'm ready to color in. I always like starting in the eyes when I do my art. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna start with the eyes. The eyes are always my favorite part anyways. They're kind of like, they create the soul of the animal, the soul of the person. It really gives, like sets off like the feeling that you're looking for. So I'm even embellishing a little bit. Like see how I went over a little bit? I'm just having fun. I'm gonna outline those really good. And then I'm gonna outline this right here. Just watch what I do to this eye. Color it in black. Leave that bubble white so it creates the highlight. So you can see, like, just by doing this eye, this is really bringing this piece alive and changing it quite a bit. I'm gonna do the other eye real quick. I'm rushing, don't rush. Take your time. It's a nice thing about doing these videos on YouTube is you can pause them, take your time, play them, go at your own speed. All right, so I got those eyes, super cool. Now I'm gonna add some color to the eyes. I'm gonna go into the eye. I'm gonna put some turquoise in there. I'm gonna add a little green. A lot of times cats have yellow eyes, like a yellowy type eye. I'm gonna put a little yellow in there, brighten it up. Okay. Now what I would do, I'm gonna take time. I'm just gonna show you some of how I started this face, but I just went really scruffy with the fur, right? Went through and kind of outlined everything. I have the black colored pencil. I added some shading like here in the ear. See how I did that a little bit? I'm gonna go out here, come down. Here's that ear, add a little shading. Scruffy. He hasn't been combed in a while. Okay, outline the face. At this point, I'm gonna add whiskers. I always really like doing whiskers. I don't do them all the same length. Some are longer, some are shorter. I'm gonna add some like whiskers coming out his ears a little bit. Maybe a few like little whiskers up here, little on the head. I'm gonna shade in a little bit some of his markings. You can have any kind of markings. I'm just making it up right now. I don't really have a plan for this. Just giving him some cool markings. I'm gonna get my pink. I'm gonna add a little pink nose. I'm gonna add some pink in my ears, okay? I'm gonna color in the rest of his face with some orange color, because he's kind of an orange tabby. And last week I talked about cross-hatching when you're doing art, and I really think that the colored pencils work really well with cross-hatching. So you kind of go in one direction, right? And then you go the opposite direction to shade. One direction, other direction. I just do it naturally now when I draw. I just change directions and layer. Alrighty, so I want to show you one thing. I'm not going to do the whole body because it takes a long time, but I do want to show you what I want you to think about for the background. This was kind of cool. Margaret Keane does this in one of her renditions of Alley Cat. So I made a curve behind my cat, a line that went this way. You can use a ruler for this. And a line that kind of curves that way. So now that's the floor, right? And then behind my cat, I made a line that comes straight down. So here's like a wall. Now, I'm gonna freehand this, but you could do this with a ruler, okay? It might be easier for you. So what I did was I'm gonna make parallel lines. So this line is tilting at the same as this. And this takes time, so if you guys don't have time to make a brick wall behind your cat, don't worry about it. You can make something else behind your cat. You can make your cat somewhere else. Maybe you don't want an alley cat. Maybe you want a house cat. I understand. Be original. Okay, see how I did that? Then I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. So I'm gonna make parallel lines. See here, right here where that line is? I'm gonna make sure I'm meeting this line so it looks right, it looks good. Okay. Now to create the brick pattern behind my alley cat, I'm gonna start with you can start at the bottom or the top. I'm gonna start at the top and I'm gonna make line about brick size, right? And then I go to my next layer and I go in the middle of that. Okay, next layer in the middle of that. This is a cool brick pattern in the middle of that. And you continue this all the way down. Let's see that one, maybe one there. And you continue this pattern. These lines are going straight down, like straight. They're not curved because then it'll mess up the pattern. So this is just a way to create a cool brick pattern. And in unit 2, we're gonna do a lot of work that is a little bit more abstract. And we're gonna be working with some really cool optical illusion type patterns that you'll be able to use, incorporate in your art and your styles, stuff that's really cool for filling up backgrounds. So I'll show you more of that. But for now, that's how you do a brick pattern, okay? So if you wanna do that, great. If not, I understand. All right, I'm gonna show you one that I already did. I always do these projects before I teach you and show you how I ended it. So here's one. Hopefully I have this lined up right. Here's my alley cat, okay? So I did take some time and I used the gray to add in all his tabby marks and in his hair, in his fur and his hair. I did more shading. I did a strong black outlines for his arms, his legs, his feet. I colored the bottom, like the gray, a little bit darker underneath him for shadow. Took a lot of time. I think this took me an hour and a half. added more orange. I even put a little yellow in my shading inside his fur to give it that real like orange tabby look. I added some of the brick red color in his fur. And then the background for the brick, I thought about red brick. And so I did, you know, I did use some reds, some dark reds, black for the outline of my brick, and just cross-hatched, shaded it, you know, just kept going until it gave me kind of the cool look that I wanted. So this is a little cartoony this week, but I wanted to show you this artist because she's very cool. Margaret Keane, Big Eyes. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week for an abstract piece again. Watercolor abstract next week, so get your watercolors handy. Take care. Bye.